hairdresser who never allows a mirror in her saloon. Once upon a time, in a small village at the edge of a great forest, there was a hairdresser named ALERO. Her salon was unlike any other for one peculiar reason: there were no mirrors. ALERO's salon was bright and inviting, filled with the scent of flowers and the sound of gentle music. Her talent with hair was known far and wide, and people traveled from distant lands to have their hair done by her. Her work was always flawless, and no customer ever left unsatisfied. Yet there was always a sense of mystery surrounding her. One day, a curious young woman named Nia entered the salon. She had heard stories of ALERO's incredible skills and the odd absence of mirrors. As she took her seat, she asked the question everyone wondered but few dared to ask. "ALERO, why don't you have mirrors in your salon? How can people see your beautiful work?" ALERO smiled softly, her fingers working delicately through Nia's hair. "Mirrors," she said quietly, "are not always the friends we believe them to be. They show us what we want to see, or sometimes what we fear, but they do not always reveal the truth." Nia raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "And what is the truth?" "The truth," ALERO replied, "is felt, not seen. Beauty isn't something a mirror can capture. It is in the way you hold yourself, the way you feel when you leave this place. It is a reflection of your heart, not just your appearance." Nia sat quietly, thinking over ALERO's words. When ALERO finished her work, Nia ran her fingers through her hair. Though she couldn't see her reflection, she felt a warmth inside her, a confidence she hadn't expected. As she stood up to leave, she thanked ALERO and promised to return. But ALERO's aversion to mirrors was more than just a philosophy. Years ago, she had once been an apprentice to a powerful enchantress. This enchantress had gifted her a magical mirror, one that could show not only the present but also the future. ALERO had used the mirror often, captivated by its power. But one fateful day, she saw something she could not bear: a future where her talents were used not for good, but for vanity and cruelty. She saw herself trapped in a world of false reflections, where people's appearances mattered more than their souls. Fearing that path, ALERO smashed the mirror and vowed never to let another mirror define her or her clients. Since then, she created her salon to help people feel their true beauty, unburdened by the gaze of a mirror. From that day on, Nia spread the word about ALERO's wisdom. People continued to visit, not to see their reflection, but to feel the beauty within themselves. And though no mirror graced her walls, ALERO's salon became a place where everyone left feeling more radiant than ever. As ALERO's reputation grew, so did the curiosity surrounding her. More and more villagers flocked to her salon, not just for her magical touch, but for the experience of leaving feeling transformed without a single glance into a mirror. One day, a mysterious traveler named Maro arrived in the village. His clothes were of a style no one had ever seen, and his eyes shimmered with a strange intensity. Maro was drawn to ALERO's salon, having heard tales of her unique approach. Unlike the others, however, Maro did not come seeking beauty. He was a collector of powerful objects, and he had heard whispers of ALERO's past with the enchanted mirror. When Maro entered the salon, he immediately noticed the absence of mirrors. "I see the rumors are true," he said, his voice smooth yet calculating. "A salon without mirrors. How peculiar." ALERO greeted him with a kind smile, though something about Maro unsettled her. "Mirrors are not needed here. What brings you to my salon?" "I seek the mirror you once destroyed," Maro said bluntly. "The one that could show more than the present. Such power should not be wasted, nor forgotten." ALERO's heart skipped a beat. It had been many years since anyone had mentioned the mirror. She had buried that part of her life, hoping never to confront it again. "The mirror is gone," she said firmly. "And with it, the temptation it carried." Maro's eyes narrowed, and a dark smile crept across his face. "Nothing that powerful is ever truly gone, ALERO. If you won't help me find it, I'll find it myself." With that, he turned and left the salon, leaving ALERO shaken. She knew Maro wouldn't stop until he found what he sought. But the mirror was not just a tool, it was dangerous in the wrong hands. She had destroyed it to prevent its misuse, Yet deep down, she feared that Morrow might be right. Magic like that never truly disappears. That night, ALERO sat by the fire, thinking of her old mentor and the lessons she had learned. The mirror had once shown her a dark future, one where vanity and obsession ruled. But it had also shown her another future, one she had been too afraid to face, a future where she would have to confront the mirror again, to protect what she had built. The next morning, ALERO visited an old friend who lived on the outskirts of the village, an elderly woman named Serafina, who had once been a powerful seer. Serafina had helped ALERO hide the remnants of the mirror after it was broken, and together they had cast a spell to ensure it would remain lost. When ALERO explained her fears about Morrow, Serafina sighed deeply. The mirror's pieces are scattered, but the magic within them still exists. If Morrow is determined, he may try to reassemble it. We must ensure that never happens. Serafina led ALERO to a hidden grove deep within the forest, where the broken shards of the mirror were buried beneath an ancient tree. As they stood before the tree, Serafina chanted an incantation, revealing the faint glow of the buried shards. But before they could act, a gust of wind swept through the grove, and Morrow appeared, his eyes gleaming with triumph. "I knew you couldn't resist coming here," he sneered. "The power of the mirror is mine now." With a flick of his wrist, Morrow summoned the shards from the earth, and they began to swirl around him, reassembling piece by piece. ALERO stepped forward, her heart pounding, knowing she had to stop him. "You don't understand what you're doing," ALERO cried. "The mirror doesn't just show the future, it warps it. It will consume you." But Morrow was too far gone, his obsession with the mirror's power blinding him to her words. As the final piece of the mirror clicked into place, Morrow gazed into it, expecting to see visions of his own greatness. Instead, a dark shadow crept across his reflection, growing larger and more twisted until it engulfed him entirely. ALERO and Serafina watched in horror as Morrow screamed, his image in the mirror contorting before vanishing into the glass. The mirror shattered once more, the shards scattering across the ground. Serafina placed a hand on ALERO's shoulder. "It's over. The mirror's power has consumed him, just as it would have consumed you had you kept it all those years ago." ALERO nodded, tears in her eyes. "I never wanted this," she whispered. "I only wanted to protect people from the illusions the mirror creates." "You did," Serafina said gently. "And now, the mirror is gone for good." With Serafina's help, ALERO gathered the shards once more, but this time, they cast them into a river far beyond the village, ensuring they would never be found again. When ALERO returned to her salon, she felt a peace she hadn't known in years. The mirrors were gone, but her purpose remained. She continued her work, not just as a hairdresser, but as someone who helped others see their true beauty, without the need for any reflection but the one inside their hearts. And so, her salon flourished, not just as a place of beauty, but as a sanctuary from the world's illusions. ALERO had faced her past and emerged stronger, knowing that true beauty could never be confined to a mirror's reflection. Months passed, and ALERO's salon remained a place of peace and transformation for all who entered. Word of her remarkable skills, as well as the salon's mysterious absence of mirrors, spread far and wide. People came not only for haircuts but also to feel the deep sense of comfort and confidence that ALERO's hands seemed to infuse in them. One afternoon, as the golden autumn leaves fell softly outside, a young girl named Lila entered the salon. She had just moved to the village and had heard rumors of ALERO's magic. Unlike the other clients, Lila was shy and withdrawn, her long hair tangled and unkempt. She sat quietly in the chair, barely able to look up at ALERO. ALERO knelt down beside her, noticing the fear in Lila's eyes. "What's your name, dear?" she asked gently. "Lila," the girl whispered, her voice almost inaudible. ALERO smiled warmly. "It's lovely to meet you, Lila. What would you like me to do with your hair today?" Lila hesitated, fidgeting with her fingers. I don't know. I don't like looking at myself. I don't want to see a mirror." ALERO's heart softened. She had seen many people come to her salon with insecurities, but there was something particularly vulnerable about Lila. It reminded her of herself, many years ago, before she learned the true meaning of beauty. "You won't see any mirrors here," ALERO said kindly, brushing a lock of Lila's hair aside. "But when I'm done, you'll feel like a new person. All I need is for you to trust me." Lila nodded slowly, and ALERO set to work. As her hands moved gently through the girl's hair, she began to speak in her soft, soothing voice. "When I was younger, I was afraid too, afraid of what people would think of me, of what I'd see in the mirror. I used to think that beauty was something I had to find in my reflection. But over time, I learned something important." Lila's eyes lifted slightly, listening. "I learned that true beauty isn't something you see. It's something you feel, something you carry inside. When you're kind to yourself, when you believe in your worth, that's when beauty shines the brightest." As ALERO finished her words, she tied Lila's hair into a beautiful braid, weaving in delicate strands of colorful ribbon. The young girl's face began to relax, a small smile forming on her lips. When ALERO stepped back, Lila ran her fingers through her hair, feeling the soft texture and the gentle braids ALERO had woven. She didn't need a mirror to know that she looked and felt different, lighter, more confident. "Thank you," Lila whispered, her voice stronger now. "I feel beautiful." ALERO smiled, a warmth spreading through her. "You are beautiful, Lila. And you always have been." From that day on, Lila visited ALERO's salon regularly, and with each visit, she grew more confident. She no longer feared mirrors or her own reflection, for she had learned that the beauty inside her was more important than anything she could see in glass. As time passed, ALERO's salon became more than just a place for physical transformations. It became a space where people came to heal, where they could shed their insecurities and find the strength within themselves. ALERO's gift wasn't just in her hands, it was in her ability to see the beauty in everyone and help them see it too. Years later, the village continued to flourish, and ALERO's salon remained a beloved part of the community. People would often tell tales of the magical hairdresser who never used mirrors, but whose clients left glowing, both inside and out. And though ALERO never sought fame or fortune, her legacy lived on in the hearts of all those who had sat in her chair, feeling the magic of being truly seen, not by their reflection, but by the kindness and love within.